In a historic move, Congress has passed the Crucial Communism Teaching Act, a bold piece of legislation aimed at educating middle and high school students about the perils of communism, a system that has resulted in untold human suffering and claimed over 100 million lives worldwide. The curriculum, crafted by the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation, provides an essential counterbalance to decades of leftist indoctrination in public education. By exposing the catastrophic failures of communism, from the gulags of Stalinist Russia to the starvation of Mao's China, the Act seeks to ensure future generations understand the grave threat this ideology poses to liberty, individual rights, and cultural identity. Let's not sugarcoat it. Communism is a massive red flag, literally and figuratively. The Crucial Communism Teaching Act is here to set the record straight. Congress just clutched up big time by passing this bill, which isn't just a history lesson. It's a reality check for a generation that's been fed way too much crap about collectivism being cool. Real talk. Communism is not merely a different economic system. It is a destructive ideology responsible for the deaths of over 100 million people and the erosion of countless cultural and religious traditions. These are not fabrications or absurd claims, as detractors of the bill would have you believe. From the Holodomor to the Cultural Revolution, communism has left a trail of human misery unparalleled in modern history. Yet, recent polls show a troubling trend. Nearly a third of Gen Z expresses support for communism, while almost half prefer socialism over capitalism. How did we arrive at this point? Decades of leftist bias in our schools and media have distorted history, painting collectivist ideologies as virtuous while vilifying the principles of freedom and self-reliance. The Crucial Communism Teaching Act seeks to correct this narrative by mandating education on the atrocities committed under communist regimes. It ensures that future generations will understand the true cost of abandoning liberty for the false promises of collectivism. Critics of the act argue that it is a McCarthyite relic designed to stifle dissent. This could not be further from the truth. Far from suppressing ideas, this legislation fosters a deeper understanding of the dangers inherent in abandoning individual rights for the collective. Communism, by its very nature, seeks to flatten society, erasing natural hierarchies, traditions, and individual achievements in the name of equality. But equality of outcome is a dangerous myth, achieved only through coercion, cultural erasure, and economic stagnation. America, by contrast, has thrived precisely because it respects the social contract, a delicate balance between freedom and order, tradition and innovation. Capitalism rewards hard work and ingenuity, while our cultural heritage provides a framework for moral and social stability. The Act reminds us that these values are worth defending against ideologies that would see them torn asunder. The pushback against this legislation reveals just how deeply the cultural left has entrenched itself in our institutions. They dismiss the atrocities of communism as right-wing propaganda and attempt to shift focus onto the supposed evils of capitalism. But capitalism, despite its imperfections, has lifted more people out of poverty and created more opportunities for human flourishing than any other system in history. The opposition also claimed the act targets unions, workers, and minorities. This is a gross misrepresentation. The goal is not to demonize workers, but to protect them from ideologies that have historically exploited their struggles to consolidate power. The Soviet Union and Maoist China were not bastions of workers' rights. They were regimes of brutal repression that turned the working class into a tool of the state. At its core, the Crucial Communism Teaching Act is about more than just history. It's about preserving the pillars of Western civilization. It's a reminder that freedom is not the natural state of humanity. It must be cultivated and defended. By educating our youth about the failures of collectivism, we safeguard the principles that have allowed America and other Western nations to thrive: individual responsibility, cultural continuity, and respect for tradition. These are the values that separate order from chaos, prosperity from destitution, and freedom from tyranny. The Crucial Communism Teaching Act is a clutch first step, but the grind doesn't stop here. Parents, teachers, and leaders need to keep the energy going, pushing for education that's grounded in facts. On January 4th, 2025, Brandon Austin made his Tottenham debut. in a 2-1 loss to Newcastle United, as Spurs squandered another lead at home. Despite a composed performance, Austin couldn't prevent goals from Anthony Gordon and Alexander Isak, with Tottenham suffering their 10th Premier League defeat of the season. Brandon Austin's debut for Tottenham Hotspur can be viewed as a reflection of the value placed on nurturing local talent, emphasizing the importance of merit over external influence. The situation highlights challenges traditional institutions face when disrupted by unforeseen factors, such as injuries and untested players, which can undermine stability. From a libertarian perspective, Austin's rise embodies personal responsibility and self-reliance, with his spot earned through persistence rather than external intervention. Austin's success underscores the significance of individual effort, competition, and the need to preserve stability and tradition within institutions. Only the most capable individuals thrive under pressure,